Hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. As you can see today, I am on the PC platform, and that is because this tutorial is going to be quite a short one, and I didn't want to feel like getting on my VR in the middle of a hot summer day to record. So today we are going to be looking at how to make a grappling hook of sorts. It is going to grab the position of wherever you point it, and then when you hold down the trigger after, the initial grab, it will pull you towards that location and will keep you there until you take your finger off of the trigger. So let's go find out how to make that. So very first, we are going to want to get just a simple trigger handle, and let us make sure that the circuits are on. It's gonna fall. I am just going to bring this back up here just against the wall. And then from there, we are also going to want to get two ifs. And then we are also going to want to get an event receiver. And just place that down there in the corner. Let's make sure you can see that. It will be an update 30 hertz. Put this over here so you guys can see that. It'll just be the simple update 30 hertz. Next up, we are going to want to get a raycast. Let's just put that over there in the corner. Without explaining too much how this thing works, it is basically going to cast a ray from the position of the trigger handle to where you are pointing the trigger handle. So along with that, we are also going to want to get a get position chip and a get forward vector. And I am going to place those up here. As you can see, those two chips up at the top. So we want to start getting everything wired up here. I do not know why that's on pickup. You're actually going to wire the primary action pressed to this if, and then wire this if to, or the condition to the hit function on the raycast, and then you're going to want to wire this update 30 hertz to this if, and then wire it to the primary action is held. Just after that, we are going to want to start filling out the raycast as well. We're going to wire this get position and connect it to the start position of the raycast, and then connect that to the top port of the trigger handle, and then do the same, except for the forward vector, you've just connected to direction. And for the max distance, we are going to want to set that to infinity. So once that's set to infinity, you should be good. Next off here, we're going to want to get a subtract and just place that down here. And then we are also going to get a velocity set. Now this is going to move the player to the point that we want. And then we're going to connect the then port of this to actually just a little backup if we're going to put down here just to make sure. We're going to connect the then to this if, and then this condition to the hit just to make sure. And then we're going to connect this then on the second if to the set velocity. The target is going to be the player, and we are also going to clone this get position up here, bring it down here, and wire the player that is holding the trigger handle to this bottom port of the subtract. So finally, what I've just got here is a vector 3 variable, this position chip. You can find that by going to where all the other variables are in your MakerPen palette. We are just going to connect this top then, to the position, and then we are going to connect this hit position part to the position vector 3 variable. And then finally, we are going to bring the position over down here, and then also bring the subtract difference over to the direction. And I would recommend, you can set it to whatever speed you want. I would recommend 1 for a nice and easy ride on the way up, but if you want anything faster, 5 is the default, and that will give you a pretty quick run. So here is the finished product. We have a trigger handle that will detect when the trigger is pressed, a update 30 hertz that will keep checking constantly to make sure the primary action is held. If it's not, then it won't do anything. If it is then going to check if the raycast coming from the trigger handle hits anything. If it does, it's going to set the velocity of the player to the position of the selected part that the player would point to when primary action is pressed. So here we have the final product. You can see I have a little laser coming off of it, but that is just something a little extra I added. That's not going to come from the raycast or anything that we've done in this video, but if you wanted to, you can always get out a laser pointer and just clamp that onto there, so your character or your player has a little bit of, knowledge of what direction they're pointing, where they're going to go. So as you can see, when I hold down the trigger, it is going to move me, maybe a little bit glitchy when you're hitting the ceiling, to the point you selected. As you can see, I can move around. I'm holding down the trigger still. As soon as I release the trigger, I will drop down to the ground, and then I can select a new position, and it will take me to that swiftly, allowing me to, again, look around. Until I release that trigger, it will drop me once more. So there you have it. That is the finished grappling hook. If you liked the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, maybe turn that bell on to be notified when I post awesome new videos about circuits. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Comment down below if you have any questions. As always, thank you for watching.